Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while. Couple of reasons. We had Canadian Thanksgiving last weekend. I had company, and yeah, my weekend kind of got away from me. And I've been working on a kit for you. And it's a little later than I wanted it to be because we had Thanksgiving last weekend and I had company, and yeah. So I started out doing fall, just fall, because I figured it was going to take me too long if I wanted to do something kind of Halloween, you know, that kind of vibe. But it wanted to be what it wanted to be. So we have lots of pumpkins, some bats. Some of the pages are a little bit leaning towards that like kind of creepy, spooky vibe. Some of them are just like this, more steampunk, more grungy, bats, pumpkins, but nothing really spooky. So you've got a little bit to play with. And then I'll show you the background pages in a minute. But all the background pages are just fall. And I should have introduced myself to begin with. My name is Linda. This is Beyond Brass. I do digital kits. I do junk journals and all things paper crafting. So on with the kit. So there are 10 kit pages, 10 background pages, and 10 pages of ephemera. And ephemera includes fussy cuts, tags, pockets, that kind of thing. I'll show you those at the end. So, like I said, some of them are more fall with like bats, but not pumpkins with carved faces. And then others are the carved faces, kind of steampunk, cool little bats. Carved faces and pumpkins. I love this thing. It's like, is it a pumpkin? Is it a bat? And then more along the lines of carved pumpkins directly Halloween. This one, you could, like if you used it as a journal page and folded it in half, you could do it so that you can't really fold it in half and see anything, but the center of your page is down the middle, and that's the center spread. I went a little bit different this time. Normally when I do my kits, I do them so that my image is only on one page. But I thought I would try and see how it worked to do one big image across 2 pages and just see. And I really like it for the pumpkins because it gives them like so much presence. And it also makes the bats bigger. Another steampunk pumpkin. And I'm like a huge fan of this teal. And I think the teal, done well, it looks like patina and very grungy and goes with that steampunk aesthetic. One that's a little bit more fall, again without the carved faces, but you've got the bats. I think there's bats on all the pages. Moons, because we all need a moon in the background. This has to be one of my favorite pages, despite the creepy pumpkin. And this one, like, I love this one. And one more. So, like I said, there's 10 of these kit pages like that. And then background pages are all more neutral, no pumpkins, just leaves, some writing, kind of soft, places where you could write, but it's still like got some depth to it. And I really like how these would go in a journal. They would give you some beautiful leaves, and I love fall leaves, and that these colors, the reds and the, like, it's one of my favorite seasons when the leaves start to turn color. Bit soft, bit grungy. Definitely very like that fall vibe. I love this page. This image comes in the ephemera as well, because I just like love these leaves so much. And then I like this one because it kind of looks like a collaged, ready to go journal page. I mean, look at how nice that would be in your journal. And you could write over top of this, even if, like, even though it's got writing on there, it's soft enough that you could write over top of it. And then a page like this one, you put that in your journal and you've got a whole page you can write on. And one more. So those are the background pages. And then for ephemera, we have 10 pages. So we have pockets. These would go like one to a page. You could tuck them over. You can see that this comes back in. So some of these images are on the backgrounds as well. These are like little policy pockets. So you could fold them, like you would fold them in half like so, and the little flap will come down over the front of it. And I did it so that the writing on here will be right side up when it's folded over on top of this side. And the same with this image. When it's folded down on here, this will be right side up. Give you a couple of labels. A tall, that could be like a tag or that kind of thing. Lots of bats. I think there's 12 on there. I love bats. And they're all a little bit, not all of them. This one's not very steampunk, but all the rest of them. He's got a little bow tie, a clock, and gears, and like, they're just so fun. Not sure what that is. Like, perhaps a hat. Let's call it a hat. And then some blank tags or more blank. And then some pumpkins. You could put the pumpkins on the tags. There's another place you can use these coming up. And I think that these would be really fun. There is another page with less steampunk pumpkins. But, you know, you have to have some steampunk pumpkins. A little bit shorter tag and some whale tail tabs to go on the either the top of these, or you could put them on the top of these tags, although they do have the reinforcements. But and I came up with a thing. These are a belly band, and I'll show you my idea at the end, but I'm pretty excited by this. Pretty excited. I'll just save these out because I would like to cut them out and show you what I have in mind. I sized these You could use them as tags, but I sized them so if you do a journal page, this should fit on a journal page edge to edge, so they're like a horizontal belly band rather like instead of a vertical one. So lots of them on there. But you could, like I said, you could use them as labels, and if you like wanted to use them as labels, print them like 2 to a page, and then they'd be half this size, or 4 to a page, and then they'd be like tiny, like about like that. They'd be so cute. So cute. Some taller tags, because we all need tall tags in our journals. Pumpkins. Some of them are a little steampunk. Some of them are just more fall. Well, he's steampunk because he's wearing a top hat. So rather fall, little steampunk. Just, yeah, I can't get away with not doing steampunk. And then some specimen slides. Now this one is printed on regular copy paper. So it's whatever, 80 GSM I think it is. And I want to show you the difference. My kits, I do my kits with a color, with a CMYK color, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, black. I've noticed, I've worked in publishing since the early 90s, and CMYK is the standard color format for anything digitally or anything printed. So if you're printing like a newspaper, a book, a magazine, your color signature needs to be CMYK. RGB is meant for computer monitors, and you will get what looks like more vibrant and vivid colors with an RGB color palette until you print. The minute you print an RGB, you lose a lot of the tonality because printers can't handle all that diversity of color. They're meant for computer monitors that have like thousands, millions of little pixels and colors. So all of my kits are CMYK. So it means that your print signature, what you see on your screen, is going to be fairly close to what you see when you print it out. Fairly close, and like not exact. Some of your monitors are going to show greens as more green than what my kits will actually print as, but that's because of the difference between CMYK and RGB. And I just wanted to explain that in case anybody is like wondering about that. Yeah, because it is a bit confusing. And if you get something and it's really muted when it prints, that might be why it's so muted when it prints. So this one is printed just on regular copy paper at a normal print setting. So then I printed it on matte photo paper. Just 1 second, I'll grab the pad. I print all my, if I'm using photo paper, I print on Koala. It's double-sided matte photo paper, so you can print on both sides without losing your color quality. This one's meant for inkjet printers. If you have a laser printer, you can use ones for inkjet printers in your laser, but there's a coating on photo paper that can wreck the rollers on a laser printer. So you're better off looking for one that says laser printer if you have a color laser printer, which are really expensive. So a lot of people don't have those. So I'm using a 32 pound, 120 GSM. So it's about 40 GSM higher weight than a regular copy paper, but not a lot heavier, and that's personal preference because I don't like heavy paper in my journals. I like something closer to a copy paper, which is why I go with the Koala double-sided, just so that you know what I'm using. Sorry about the noise as I get that out of the way. So this one is printed on the 32 pound, and you can see, like, look at, oh no, this is the copy paper. So you can see the copy paper, that weight, and the photo paper, like, not a lot heavier, but a bit heavier. So these are both printed at normal printer settings. So you can see it makes some difference. And at normal on copy paper, this corner is actually a little bit easier to see than on this. So you're losing some of the darkness in it, which is, I mean, it's fine. It depends upon what you want, but they're very, very, very close. So those are at normal setting. And then this one is at best setting. And as far as I am concerned, this is me. This is personal preference. And it's up to you what you want. I don't like this. Or I don't like this as much as this. Printed at normal on this colors, like at this, because this is too orange. As far as I'm concerned, this is too orange. I also, and this is going to depend upon your printer. I have a Brother printer, and normal works fine on my Brother printer. I have printed other kits with the best quality setting on this Koala photo paper, and had it go almost gray. Like it loses all its vibrancy. It looks diminished. So I don't print it best. Almost ever. You will notice there's a bit more definition perhaps in this leaf than in this one. But again, this is quite a bit oranger. And on my computer screen, this is closer to what it looks like than this one. And here, like, I think that this leaf loses some of its vividness when I print it best quality. But play around with it. I just wanted to show you that in case. I don't know why I wanted to show you that. So my idea with this one, just to show you quickly, try to do this fairly quickly. Is to cut them out like so. And obviously I can't draw lines. So now these won't match, which doesn't actually matter, because one will go on one side of the page and one will go on the other side of the page. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm the world's slowest fussy cutter, so if you're bored, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you haven't all left by now. Just gonna change the angle of that a little. So this is what it would look like all cut out. Like so. And then, I don't have a journal, well I do, but in that in-between range, but let's grab a page, just a page, and let's say this was going to be your journal page. I wouldn't maybe put it on something that busy. Look how good that looks. Like, even though that pumpkin is cut in half and you got part of a bat wing, you still got a really nice image on each side. And you don't have to look at it as if you had to put it as your center of your signatures. I think that would work really well. So the idea with this is to fold it kind of in half-ish. And it, again, it doesn't have to be exact. And then just slip it on your page where you wanted it to be. Like, say, there. And then you would create all your signatures, just leaving it laying there. And perhaps you would catch it. Probably this isn't very deep, so you're probably only going to catch it with one of your holes when you do your signature, especially if you're doing like a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you do a 5-hole, like this one, you would still only catch it in one. And I would make sure to lay it somewhere that you know you're catching at least one hole of your, like where your 5-hole pamphlet stitch is. So you can see that that would catch one. And my thought is that that's not going to be that important. So you're going to just sew it in with your signatures and not do anything else. It's going to be kind of flappy. In the meantime, you're not going to glue it to your page at this point in time. You create all your signatures, you sew them all in, and then when you're doing all your decorating, you've got room at this point in time. You could ink around it if you wanted to. You could put a brad in there, an eyelet in there, however you want it to be on the page. And then at that point in time, I would probably put a little bit of glue on the interior here, and then glue wherever here you don't want your tag or whatever it is that you're slipping inside of it. And you've got one on each side, which I think would be so much fun. Like, so much fun. You can print something neutral on the back so that you've got, like, there are 3 on that page, so just print a neutral on the back of your belly bands, or not. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to see inside the belly band, right? Like, it's going to be glued down to your page when it's all said and done. Or you could leave it as like a flip out so that you've got like a little mini interactive page. You could do it so that you glue one side here and here. You've got a belly band here, and you leave it open, the other side completely open, like a little mini flip. And if you have glued on the side that you don't want to be the flip, this is not going to come off when you do it. If you've only got one stitch through here, it will move around, like it'll rotate if you haven't put some glue on that little line once it's in your signature. But that will give you an idea of something fun that you could do with those. They're too tall to go this way, but you could conceivably print them like 2 to a page and have them shorter, or do a shrink it so that you have a shorter page so that they're a little bit shorter, and then have it go top to bottom on your page if that would be your preference. So hopefully you enjoy that. I'm going to put it, because it's so late in the month and it took me a lot longer to get it out than I anticipated, I am going to put it on for a lower rate until the end of October, so that if you're interested, it won't be what I'm charging for some of my other kits. And hopefully now I can get back to doing regular crafting. And until next time, have a lovely crafty day. Bye.